Wednesday, you magnificent beast. If you are here for the snooker, the cricket, or the rounders, I'm afraid I've got some wrestling news. Wade Barrett returns to WWE. A top Raw star responds to fan backlash, and an AEW star mocks Randy Orton for a botched Raw moment. We'll get to it in a bit. News came down late yesterday that Wade Barrett is returning to WWE. He will be part of tonight's episode of NXT on the commentary table. This is the first time that Wade Barrett / Stu Bennett has been a part of WWE since he left in 2016. In his 6 years on the main roster, on the NXT and the main roster, he did OVW and such before that. But in his run from 2010 to 2016, he had some highs, didn't he? Bad News Barrett, King Barrett, first part of the Nexus thing. He had some lows as well. League of Nations, the core, the other part of the Nexus thing. Up and down time for Barrett. He chose not to stay with the company when his contract was coming up, went off to find his own way in the wrestling world, which led him to WCPW as it was becoming defiant. He worked at World of Sport Wrestling for a while. He was set to be part of Lucha Underground as well. He was in the finale of the last season, and then Lucha Underground just didn't happen again. And he was part of NWA Power up till recently as a replacement for Jim Cornette at the commentary table. Now, this is another NWA guy who has gone on to do other things outside of NWA. We've seen Ricky Starks and Eddie Kingston join All Elite Wrestling. Thunder Rosa is on AEW television this week as the NWA Women's Champion. And now, of course, it is Stu Bennett / Wade Barrett returning to WWE tonight. Pro Wrestling Sheet give us a few details on this occurrence, and they say sources tell us this is just a one-shot deal for now, and that the former leader of Nexus, who won the first original season of NXT, little tidbit, has not signed a full-time deal to rejoin the company. So this is a one-off just to get a flavour for, I presume, if he enjoys it or not. I feel like this will probably lead to the return of Wade Barrett. I just have a feeling in my waters that this is indeed a one-shot deal for now, but give it some time and I can see him back in the company. They're always looking for new voices and faces and places on commentary. He'd be quite a nice fit there. I'm sure they'd be keen to get a guy like of his physical presence back in the wrestling ring. I know there were some big plans at some point for Wade Barrett that I'm sure they could pick up on again. But he'll do a great job tonight. I really enjoy Stu Bennett's work on commentary in NWA, and I think he'll be great tonight on NXT. Should be a big one for the black and gold tonight, as AEW is once again preempted for Space Jam the live show. NXT tonight featuring 2 championship matches. We will see the NXT Cruiserweight title on the line as Santos Escobar defends against Isaiah Swerve Scott. They've been doing some lovely build to this match over the past few months, and it's nice to see it coming to a head tonight. The NXT Tag Team titles are on the line. Breezango getting another shot at Imperium after winning the triple threat tag match at TakeOver 30. Also tonight, Io Shirai will team with Rhea Ripley to face Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. No doubt a match that will start to build towards something with Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley. Karrion Kross and Scarlett will be on hand to open the show tonight as well. We are awaiting a conclusive update on Karrion Kross. He suffered an injury during his match at TakeOver 30. It looked like a separated shoulder. MRI is expected later today, so we'll have an idea later on the status of Karrion Kross. Hopefully nothing that's going to keep him away from action, and something that is going to some good news we want today for Karrion Kross, really. The guy who Karrion Kross beats at TakeOver 30 has been a talking point this week as Keith Lee made his Monday Night Raw debut, and fans went, "Oh God! Why have you changed his music? What is he wearing? What's going on? Is it DQ win over Orton? I don't understand. Did he lose? I don't know." So Keith Lee, very much, there's some concern around Keith Lee's debut on Monday Night Raw. And Keith went to Twitter to reassure the Legion, as it were. Keith went onto Twitter and said, "Music is out of my hands. period. Leave it be. I will sort it out later. So one of the big issues with Keith Lee's debut was the fact that his music was different. That Bask in His Glory rap song that Keith sang himself is gone. There's a reason for that. There is a reason for that. Turns out that all WWE guys are being encouraged to break away from any music that was put together by CFOS, as the relationship between WWE and CFOS no longer really exists. And by using a CFOS song, CFOS gets 50% of the royalties. So WWE are like, no, we want all the royalties, eating those royalties like Pac-Man. So they're giving him some new music. It did feel like it was very thrown together, didn't it? Keith went on to respond to a few other tweets from last night, fans airing their concerns about Keith's debut, saying, leave it be and have some patience. Take a deep breath. It's going to be okay, I promise. Let me handle that stuff. Now, one fan went onto Twitter and told Keith that he doesn't have to respond to all the fans, and it's true. But Keith went, of course I don't have to. I don't owe anyone an explanation. It is simply my way of showing respect to the people who have supported me. I don't want people caught up on small things when what we should be acknowledged is on my debut, I mixed it up with Orton. Way bigger deal. And I think, and myself included, we kind of lost that a little bit. The fact that Keith Lee, in his Raw debut, was in there with Randy Orton, and on this Sunday, he is on a pay-per-view against Randy Orton. That's what we should focus on. Let's take some advice from Keith. Let's just breathe, and let's see where we go. Incidentally, Keith, if you do need some music, I'm sure me and Ross can sort you out with a little song that we wrote. Don't and finalamo. Staying with Big Keith's opponent for payback, Randall Keith has had a little bit of stick following Monday Night Raw. This is following the punt that he gave to Drew McIntyre. Well, not so much the punt he gave to Drew McIntyre, the punts he gave to the air around Drew McIntyre. I'm not suggesting, as we said yesterday, I'm not suggesting you kick a guy in the head. But it did just miss him. I think afterwards, if you watch any replays of it now, you can watch, obviously the cameras change very quickly. I'm sure they've added a sound effect to it as well. This miss of a kick didn't go unnoticed by Matt Jackson from AEW. One half of the Young Bucks was keen to get a little bit of an elbow in the ribs to Randy Orton, because Randy Orton made some comment about a miss that Matt Jackson had during AEW a while ago, and Randy sent a message to Matt Jackson following a fluffed spot on AEW where he said, sweet landing, but you didn't hit anybody. Tell Cody, Goldust, Harper, Swags, Y2J, Hardy, Ryder, Spears, Ambrose, Arn, Malenko, Gunn, and most importantly, FTR, hello from me. That was a comment that Randy Orton made regarding a very underwhelming spot that Matt Jackson hit on AEW. So, when that kick happened on Raw, Matt Jackson was primed with his phone and went onto Instagram and said, Randy Orton, sweet landing, but you didn't hit anybody. Say hello to Brian, Claudio, Kevin, Generico, Tyler, and Adam from me. Pettiness between AEW and WWE. The world is healing. The world is healing. That's your news for now. Jack will be along later today with more wrestling news. Lots of stuff going on in the wrestling world today. And Jack's going to get to some more of the big stories later on, including a guy from AEW who isn't going to be around for a good long while. And we'll talk a little bit about why later. Also later today on the Cultaholic Twitch channel, Jack and Owen are back on Football Manager. They are saving Sunderland. Lord knows somebody needs to. Twitch.tv/Cultaholic. If you want to watch us playing games, watching old 90s TV shows, join me on a Friday for a call-in show. We have a right laugh on Twitch, and I'd love it if you came and had a laugh with us. Twitch.tv/Cultaholic. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.